dedicated to this game and that we are putting more resources than ever into it. And you'll start to see that with Operation Twin Shells. Operation Twin Shells is all about the new operator as well, Skopos. This is Kyrie Galanos, who's one of the original operators from Rainbow Six, and she comes with 2 shells that she can control. This is a testament to the creativity of the game and the talent of our team to come up with unique operators like this that are still game changers. We're also introducing updates to anti-cheat and anti-toxicity, which is a major priority for us for the future of the game. And we have more like the Siege Cup coming in beta phase. We also have balancing changes. We have After Action 2.0 coming online, and we have so much more for you. We can't wait to dig into it. So let's begin.
Siege Cup, pai! Siege Cup! Siege Cup!
Cheating and toxicity are not just concerns for you. They are critical issues for us as well. To address this, we've restructured our team to dedicate even more resources to these challenges. Now, to share exclusive details and updates on the current and upcoming player protection projects, here's Alexander Karpazes and product owner Lancelot Seiji.
Player protection.
We want to assure you that we have more than just one security system in place. More than just Battle Live, we have 6 detection systems running at any given time so that we can catch cheaters. And we're constantly improving these systems. On top of this, we want to talk about a pillar as well for our anti-cheat, which is binary hardening. Binary hardening is the act of obfuscating and making it harder for cheat makers to access the game. Think of it like a giant library, where a cheat maker is trying to find a specific book. For us, we'll be trying to change that book's location as much as possible. And even on top of that, changing the shelves and the entire library so that it's as confusing and as hard for a cheat maker as possible, so that in the end, they cannot effectively make cheats for our game. When it comes to Siege Cup, for those that have won and have cheated, they will be banned. But of course, their teammates will have access revoked from Siege Cup as well, ensuring that competitive integrity remains in Siege. Another area of improvement is time to ban. 75% of bans are happening 12 hours sooner now. And this is something that we'll be working on in the future to reduce that time as much as possible. As you may have seen in our August update for anti-cheat, the team has grown in size. It's now a multidisciplinary team that is actually one of the largest in-house anti-cheat teams in the world for any given project. And for us, that means we're totally dedicated to making sure that Siege is the best it can be when it comes to anti-cheat.
In the anti-toxicity team, our mission is simple: ensuring a safe space for all players in Rainbow Six Siege. It means protecting the community from recurrent and highly toxic players while avoiding positive behavior. Our mission includes handling features like reverse friendly fire, text censorship, reports, abandoned penalties, match cancellation, commendation system, and of course, the reputation system. Our philosophy centers around 3 key principles: transparency, understandability, and clarity. In its current state, the reputation system has some weaknesses and is not trusted by the community. This is why we decided to overhaul it. It means reviewing its structure, the actions that are feeding it, and the in-game UI. And to be clear, a single negative action will have a minimal impact on you. Only the recurrence of this action will affect your reputation. We aim to give you access to those changes in YANA in S4. The system will remain in beta. It means no impact on standing until we are 100% confident it meets your and our standards of transparency, understandability, and clarity. Additionally, we are still working on some very impactful features that we cannot wait to share with you by the end of the year.
When you finish a match in Operation Twin Shells, things are
Resumindo.
Please welcome senior game designer Vladimir Kozik to walk you through the new post-action report.
Se os caras entregar o que falou sobre o anti-cheat, vai dar bom.
Então, mas
tem que entregar, né?
Mas, mano, igual eu falei, eu sou igual mulher. Mano, eu tô estudando isso desde 2018, que lançou a Operational Health. 2019, sei lá.
Acho que foi 18 mesmo, mano.
Pô, mano, tô estudando essa história faz tempo já, mano.
There will be a new screen with teammates represented as 3D operators located on the same map they just played.
Caralho!
Here they can command teammates.
Ó, que da hora! Isso aí é no menu, ó.
Instead of a sequence of separated tabs, all progression, like crank, clearance, battle pass, also including challenges this time, will be comfortably organized on a
Menu da E6 Mobile, sério?
Highlights the most important information. I'm so excited with this update. I can't wait our players try it out and share their feedback with us.
Drone Boost is a new feature coming to our attacker lineup. The goal here is to continue to reinforce our attackers. Make sure they have the tools to get
Olha lá, olha lá, olha lá.
Intel is king in Siege. And keeping them drone alive is crucial to getting that intel. Some of the changes we did to Solus.
Caralho, vai. Diferente, hein, Vela? Diferente, hein?
Corrida de drone,
Dronezinha. Olha, mano. Caralho. Isso é muito bom, mano. Dronagem rápida, tá ligado? Olha. Tá louco, pai. Que porra é essa, mano?
Século agora vai, mano, vai virar o...
Papá.
Em um segundo. Cara, vai virar o Ayrton Senna agora do bagulho, viado.
Olha isso, a velocidade, mano. Porra é essa, mano? Mano, eu acho que essa velocidade tá certo, guys. Mano, fizeram um update bom isso aqui, hein, mano. Velo tá legal, pai. Velo tá legal, mano.
Nossa, mas todos os drones tem isso, mano. A Twitch também, da Brava também, tudo.
Foda, pai. Gostei, pai.
Nossa, será que da Brava vai ter?
Tem, ele acabou de mostrar, pô.
Nossa economia, para garantir que eles possam viver por mais tempo.
Aí, ó.
They should be used more regularly in the middle and late game of the rounds. And we want to make sure that you have those tools in your arsenal to be able to make things happen.
Palmas! Mandou bem, pai. Essa aí tá boa, pai. Essa do drone tá boa, tá?
Até agora tudo tá da hora.
Se for...
Tudo vídeo,
Olha lá, sistema de recompensas, olha lá. Rank Match? Ainda bem... Mano, vamos ver o que vai dar na Rank Match.
In Year 9, Season 3, Operation Twin Shells, we're happy to announce the beta of Siege Cup. We made the decision to restrict Siege Cup beta to the PC platform because we can be much more reactive. If something happens with the Siege Cup, we can address it much faster than with other platforms. We really want to launch Siege Cup
pai, o que nós vai arrebentar os caras nesse Siege Cup é sacanagem, pai. Razah Company vai estourar todo mundo na Siege Cup, pai. Nós só vai jogar Siege Cup o dia todo, mano.
Opa, já vou abrir a tela agora.
Pega aí, pai. Pega o registro, pai. Opa! Vamos ver, peraí.
In Year 9 Season 3, all console players will receive one free competitive pack. Move up the ranks, get as many competitive coins as you can, so you can continue to open packs in that collection. Starting in Year 9 Season 3, when you're waiting for your next match, whether it's in Ranked, Quick Match, or even the Siege Cup, you'll be able to enter the shooting range to stay warmed up, ready for your next match.
Isso é bom, isso aí é bom.
Muito bom. A cover feature within the aiming lane. Now you can have covers pop up from the ground, dummies will hide behind them, and take position as you try to eliminate them as you warm up your aim. Both PC and console players will be able to enter the shooting range during matchmaking. 1v1s have become more popular within Siege, and that's why we've now added a 1v1 custom preset in custom game. There are two presets for 1v1s in custom game, short and long.
Vou falar quem que mudou essa parada aí. Jinx mudou o jogo, pai. Mudou o jogo, pai.
It's the first to 8 rounds, but if the match gets tense and it's really tight, there are 3 overtime rounds. And both of the 1v1 presets, all maps are available. The pace has been lowered to 20 seconds. It's perfect for one player to get set up and ready for the attack. The bomb game mode is the featured game mode in both 1v1 presets. Role swap every round. You play attack.
Eu sei que é só um preset de personalizada, porém... Muita gente não sabe criar isso, tá ligado? Muita gente bate cabeça pra criar, né?
Game designer David Perpignan has all the answers, plus spoilers. It's Solus, Dokkaebi, and Nook.
Opa!
Agora é o momento, hein?
Vamos ver. Of changes for Solis. We know that our previous package was a bit harsh. We've been monitoring data just to see that everything went well. What we've seen is a decrease in ban rate and also in presence, but a steady trend on win rate. This new wave of changes for Solis is based in 3 pillars. The first pillar is the detection mechanic. Now Solis will use only the center of the screen to detect the gadgets, and those gadgets will be unidentified. You won't know what they are. The second pillar is the scanning or identification mechanic. Now we call it overclock, and once you trigger the overclock, your energy is refilled, and you'll be able to see every gadget in the center of the screen as identified. You'll know what they are. Aside from that, Solis will emit a warning to every observation tool in the enemy team within the range of detection, so they will know that you are overclocking and that you are seeing their gadgets. The third pillar is the energy access. Now Solis Spec IO will last longer and will require less energy to be activated while reloading. Also, these new changes give us more.
Finalmente destruir esse boneco que era roubadaço. A realidade tem que ser dita. Tem que ir pro inferno esse boneco, pai. Tem que ir pro inferno.
Specifically at the beginning of the round. That's why we're taking a look to the resource management in her ability. Now, Doka will start with 0 charges at the beginning of the round, and we'll get one every 45 seconds, but only up to 2 per round. These changes should reduce the pressure on defenders now. They should have more time to prepare their setup.
Tá certo também, tá certo. Tem que ir pro inferno também, mano. Tem que ir pro inferno esse boneco também, mano. Esse carinha que fica ligando Doka, patinando pelo mapa igual idiota. Acabou a mamata, acabou. Acabou a mamata. Acabou, pai. Acabou a mamata. Acabou. Os idiotão que fica ligando Doka e só indo. Agora sim, papai. Você bem knock, hein?
Tira o boneco de um bot e bota na mão de
Vou marcar rotate debaixo da câmera, igual idiota. Só parado. Caralho, guys, tá clean aqui. Caralho, tem um cara debaixo da câmera.
Or shoot, your energy will be consumed.
Meu Deus do céu.
Nossa, isso é muito roubado, mano.
Olha isso, mano.
Nova main knock, tá? Nova main knock aqui, ó. Rafael Ribeiro, pai.
We want them to feel like there's a monster in the house. Knock and smokes. FMG9 is getting above. We are reviewing its recoil to make it more comfortable when you're shooting at longer distances, specifically when you're using magnified scopes. The objective of these changes is to improve the player perception and balance of those operators while keeping the frustrations away. There will be more changes in this season. For example, we're taking a look at the proximity alarm and its synergy with Sentry, and also at the delayed timer for explosions on the Claymore.
A big update for Versus AI is coming in Operation Twin Shells, as you'll now be able to play as a defender and face off against a squad of attacker bots. For more, here's AI programmer Ariane Moncha.
Programadora de IA, ó a programadora de IA aí, ó. Ó a programadora.
Versus AI is a game mode designed for new players to provide them with a safe environment where they can learn and practice before their first ranked experience. In Year 8, Season 4, we introduced Versus AI for the first time. Since then, we keep adding more operators to play with and against, more supported maps, and we keep integrating more AI behaviors. This season will be significant. We're introducing Versus AI 2.0. Given that Siege is an asymmetrical game, we want to give the players the opportunity to play the other side. For the first time, players are going to be able to play the defenders against a full team of AI attackers. The AI attacker team will feature 5 operators: Ash, Thatcher, Termite, Nomad, and Sledge. As a defender, the player will be able to choose between 16 operators, including the new one, Skopos. New players are going to have the opportunity to learn how to react to those attackers' behaviors, but it will also give them some ideas of how to play themselves when it's their turn to play the attackers. Both beginner and advanced game mode are going to
uma ideia, né?
full
Mas
match
tinha que ter um cacinha também, né?
Similar to a casual game,
Me
the
impressiona
player
a
is gonna
gameplay
enter
do cara
as
que
either
joga,
a
toda vez é
defender
pior.
or an attacker against a full team of AIs. They're gonna play on one of our 8 supported maps, and after 2 rounds, they're gonna switch sides. We've heard your feedback, and we want to make sure that Versus AI gives a real feel of what it's like to play Siege.
Cada vez melhor, mano.
It's now time to talk about the new operator, Skopos. This Greek defender brings a new
Skopos,
dimension
novo
of
operador, hein, galera? Novo operador, Skopos, hein?
twin shells, Talos and Colossus.
Vou vazar o país dele aqui, diretamente da Costa Rica, tá? É ele. Skopos.
And for a breakdown of the new gameplay opportunities she offers, we'll go to game designer Justin Larange Alualia.
Grécia, cara, é Grécia? Tapei.
Skopos is from Raven Shield era, and her name is Kuris Galanos. Her visual design is really based off of her story background and the trauma that she went through. In the anime that was released from the Year 9 Season 1, in the mission there was Daniel Bogard and Jared Morris at that time trying to stop the bomb maker. In the end, you see a giant explosion, and it was actually exactly that moment where she stopped being able to walk. Ever since then, she's a wheelchair user. She's been in a relentless chase trying to seek prosecution to stop Deimos. All that toll took an effect on her face. She looks very gaunt, she has eye bags, wrinkles, and ragged hair. Skopos is a master strategist. She adapted her wheelchair into her command center like a pilot seat. She uses the shells to be part of the action. In game, you can hear her, you can see her face when you swap between the two shells. When we're designing her wheelchair and the robots, we really had in mind to make sure that she feels very grounded. So we went with analog, old technology look. We really want to establish the fact that it's not smart AI robots. They're not invincible. They can be destroyed. When she loses Talos, Colossus, she's losing a part of her again. So for the design of the robots, we wanted to differentiate the two so you can identify them easily on the field. The difference are in the antennas, the shoulder pads, and colors and patterns are distinct to one another. We made sure to have the analog look by physically having buttons that you can push. They're wires that you can see, and they're not touch screens, they're not holograms, they are something that you can touch and feel.
Back when she was a field agent, Kyurei surveyed the area from afar as a sniper. Now, she still watches from a distance, but in a different way. Thanks to her new tech, Skopos is able to maintain a wide network of control unlike any other defender. That's because what Skopos brings to the field is not one, but two remotely controlled robotic operators. These shells, named Talos and Colossus, make up the V10 Pantheon system. At any given moment, one of Skopos' shells will be in an active state, where it functions like an operator, while the other remains in an idle state, where it functions like a powerful piece of defensive utility. Skopos' control allows her to swap the states of these shells, quickly delivering offensive or defensive power where it's needed most. Skopos' active shell works much like any other operator. It can move, shoot, and use gadgets. It's also Skopos' primary lifeline. If a shell is destroyed while it's active, Kyurei's link is severed, and she's functionally dead for the rest of the round. Two bodies does not mean two lives. Meanwhile, Skopos' idle shell will take on a defensive posture.
Cada corpo.
Much like a deployable shield secondary.
Dois corpos são uma vida, entendeu, galera?
The idle shell can be used as an observation tool by Kyurei and her allies. Additionally, Skopos can access her idle shell's camera directly at any time with the gadget button. While Skopos is looking through her idle shell's camera, she'll have the option to swap shells. Activating the swap sequence will put her active shell into idle mode and put her idle shell into active mode. The only catch is that the active shell needs to be in a position where it can deploy its shield to perform the swap. Skopos' HUD has an indicator that'll make this easier. In fact, Skopos' HUD will display plenty of useful information about both shells, including whether the idle shell is under attack or being affected by an EMP. Skopos is a very tactically oriented operator that requires players to collect data and quickly act on it to maximize her potential. A strong Skopos player is one that makes frequent use of her idle shell to guide the actions of her active shell. For most players, Skopos will likely be a shallow roamer, operating near the bomb site while having the means to extend into a deeper roam or fall back and anchor as needed. If used strategically, she has the power to be one of the most mobile operators in the game. Skopos' idle shell can be a very strong piece of utility. Having the combined properties of a deployable shield and a bulletproof camera, This shield can offer a large amount of intel from relative safety. Skopos' idle shell is most effective when placed in key areas for the defenders to hold, so that it can provide information and serve as a launching point for when the enemy least expects it.
Cameras coming out.
Não vai ser tão fácil sair do shield assim e fazer o que quer, né?
Ele demora pouquinho.
Kyurei may not be bringing a sniper rifle into battle, but make no mistake, her shells are still packing some serious firepower. This weapon is precise, deadly, and heavily customizable, making it a versatile tool.
Pode dar TP, mas vai ser roubado em algumas situações, mas não é um negócio tão quebrado assim. Aparentemente.
Skopos also has access to secondary gadgets. These are shared between her two shells. Her first option is impact grenades, a great choice to maximize her mobility and roaming potential. Alternatively, Skopos can bring proximity alarms. These synergize great with her idle shell, helping her know exactly the right time to take action. The Pantheon shells are 2 health, 2 speed operators, having been built for a balance between durability and mobility. Given their unique nature, Skopos' shells have a few special interactions. A good rule of thumb is to think of her active shell as an operator and her idle shell as a gadget. The first interaction you might wonder about is EMPs and gadgets that target electronic devices, like IQ. While Skopos' shells are electronic, the active shell has an active countermeasure that protects it from anti-electronic effects. It won't completely stop them, but it will prevent Skopos' active shell from being fully disabled by an EMP. This protection doesn't extend to the idle shell, however. Disabling effects will prevent Skopos from using the camera and swap features. Skopos' greatest counter is Dokkaebi. The hacker's calls are a threat to any roamer, but they also block Skopos' strongest escape plan. Additionally, Dokkaebi's universal hack can give her team access to the idle shell's camera. Brava's clutch drone can overheat Skopos' idle shell. However, this takes a while and gives Kyurei a warning of her HUD. If she's fast enough, Skopos can swap to activate her countermeasures and prevent the overheat. In addition to being an electronic gadget, Skopos' idle shell's shield can be destroyed with explosives and similar effects, leaving the idle shell exposed.
Então não é tão quebrado, quebra. Não é um bagulho indestrutível, tá ligado? Uma granada, uma Ashe. Já era, tá ligado?
Tem que saber posicionar isso aí, mano.
É muito counter, mano. Tem muito boneco counter, tá ligado? Brava, muito boneco counter, mano. Toca, Ashe.
Não, da hora, boneco diferente, mano. Da hora. Não é tão roubado. Da hora. Tá jogando pra saber, mano, tudo dá pra fazer.
Dock stims, Thunderbird's Kona stations, and Rook's armor won't help the shells. They also can't get put in a down state, and they don't breathe, meaning they're immune to toxic effects like smoke and Fenrir. That last fact can open the floor to some aggressive combos.
Eu acho que vai ser boneco que não vai ser usado tanto não, mano.
Aparentemente não.
Skopos is to double down on intel. Maestro, Valkyrie, and Echo can offer more insight into enemy positions and even provide some distractions. That can be more than enough to let Skopos get into position.
Pô, isso nunca vai acontecer, mano.
Nunca.
Se tu estiver jogando no cobre, aí vai acontecer, mano.
Skopos is designed to embody the key aspects of being a defender. Gathering information and swiftly responding to attacker strategies. Skopos brings a level of adaptability that, if left unchecked, can turn the tide on even the strongest of attacks. We'll be keeping a close eye on her in the test server and throughout the season to see what players can do with her.
Loading you now. You won't see his face ever, but you'll probably recognize his voice, as he's a big part of the Siege community. It's Marley, and he's here to give you his own special brand of insight into the new operator, new balance, and all that Operation Twin Shells has to offer.
Bob Marley. É ele mesmo.
First impression of the new operator was definitely, oh, they've broken the game, this is it. But then when you see how it actually plays, it's amazing, it's mind-blowing, and it's definitely the most versatile operator on defense.
Oh, Marley.
The new weapon she's got is another assault rifle on defense. I love it. I love that weapon. The best strategy that I've found with the new operator so far is definitely finding my typical mirror window hiding spots on defense and planting one of the shells in the corner and hoping everybody walks right past it, and then switching to the shell when needs be, and yeah, the rest is history. During the playtest, the hardest counter that I noticed definitely feel like Flores drones.
Parece boa, né? Arma mesmo. Não é roubada, não.
The balancing changes this season have got me really
balanceado pra baixo, tá ligado?
I'm going to be playing her completely differently to how I used to. I'm going to be sitting under cameras and yeah, really exciting. And I'm glad to see the new Solis change as well. I think that's a great change. Now you'll know when there's a Solis below when you're droning, and I think that's amazing.
Imagina, dois escudos, pega Maestro, pega Meluzi, fica muito best, mano.
Siege Cup is going to bring a whole new level of sweat and passion to Rainbow Six Siege that I can't wait for. Who will I want to challenge in the 1v1 custom match? What a silly question. Jinxie, I'm ready. Overall, I think it's a really refreshing and exciting season. Year 9 Season 3 is bringing what I think is one of the most exciting operators I've seen in a long time. I can't wait to see all the fun and different plays coming from people. And I just think overall, alongside the balancing changes, it's just going to be a great season, and I can't wait for it to launch.
And that's the full rundown for Operation Twin Shells, which is hitting the season test server tomorrow.
Tomorrow!
Jump in and see how Skopos, Todas, and Colossus.
Amanhã nova season, hein, galera? Já vamos fazer os testes no TTS amanhã então, beleza? Uma das melhores dos últimos tempos aí, tá? Porra, pode botar dos últimos tempos aí, mano.
Da hora. Gostei também, mano. Gostei do operador, gostei da atualização. Prometeram o anti-cheater melhorado. Da hora mesmo, mano.
É pelo jeito que eles estão falando do anti-cheat, parece que dessa vez tá funcionando, eu acho, hein, mano? Sabe o que quer que eu explique por quê? Você viu ali eles explicando que vai mudar o bagulho toda hora, tipo, e vai confundir os caras?
Aham.
Será que vai funcionar mesmo? Não sei, né, mano?
Então, esse é o ponto, mano. Se vai funcionar, ela não sabe.
Então, aí que tá o voto. Do jeito que falaram ali, parece que vai funcionar, mas não sei, né? Eu não vou acreditar tanto, porque é foda acreditar, né?
Vou esperar um pouquinho. Dia 20 a gente comenta, 10 dias depois da season.
Porra, foda, tá ligado?
No primeiro dia de season, no segundo dia de season já vai saber já.
Entendeu? Isso que é foda, né, mano?
Pô, mas eu tô falando pra ver se não vai ficar
muito. Anos, né, mano? Ser inocente esse pá, né? Se você gostou, não esquece de deixar um like, tá bom, galera? E se não curtiu, beleza, pode fechar o vídeo e suma, tá? Bye, bye!